Starting the session. Good morning, guys. Good morning and welcome back. As I mentioned just now, so today I had covered like one AI agent tool in JMeter. So this is a recent development in JMeter, guys. So AI, we are hearing AI everywhere, right? So someone has developed, a plugin for AI plugin or AI agent for JMeter, and they contributed to Apache JMeter Software Foundation. Apache Software Foundation, sorry. So what is Apache Software Foundation? It is a organization, like it is a software organization which develops open source tools. Okay. So someone has developed this AI agent for JMeter and they contributed to this Apache Software Foundation community. So I had recorded that session in the morning batch and I will share it to you. Right. So please go through that, if those who are interested. Those who are already aware of JMeter, please go through that. Okay. Those who are not aware of JMeter, please wait for some time. Okay. So we have some people who already did training before, or who are already aware of JMeter, right? So those guys, please go through that. I'll upload that session as a public video on my YouTube channel. So those who subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the all notifications will get a notification. Okay. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow our Insta page also, guys. I'm sharing a lot of openings over here, job openings over here. Not only into performance testing, I'm sharing some fresher openings. Please forward this Instagram page to your friends or relatives, or if anyone want to support us. So please, please keep it in our WhatsApp status if anyone want to support us. I am collecting a lot of openings from various sources and updating through our Insta page. Okay. So right now, these are the openings currently available in Advent Global for SAP. This is for SAP. Different modules. I think these are different SAP SD. These are all different modules in SAP. And fresher openings are there. Couple of fresher openings are there in Advent Global Solutions. So Advent Global, I got this from one of my ex-colleague from AppLabs, called DJ. His name is DJ Damodar. So Advent Global, he's leading that Advent Global. So we got, whenever we get some bulk openings or referral openings, I am sharing it through our Insta page and WhatsApp status. Okay. So WhatsApp status, I will not be uploading everything, but most of the openings will be shared through our Insta page. Deloitte is having some openings currently for QA engineer, 0 to 2 years, guys. Yesterday or last week, someone pinged me like if there are any openings for 2+ years experience. We got some performance openings also for 2+ years of experience. I'll share that. I'll share that on my Insta page. Right. So now let's go to the session. Where did we stop yesterday? Yesterday we discussed about request structure and response structure, right? So I'll not go into assessment today because we are already, running late. So I'll directly go to the session. We'll have this assessment anyways, I will share like week one assessment today or tomorrow. I'll share week one assessment because we are going to complete this performance testing fundamental concepts. And I will share week one assessment through an email. Any queries? I see someone pinging in the chat. Okay. All right. So today let us discuss, HTTP status codes or response codes. Please give me a. So today we'll discuss the different HTTP status codes, and if time permits, I'll also cover authentication versus authorization, which is another fundamental concept, which is required for both developers or this concept is important, or these two concepts for that matter, HTTP status codes and authentication and authorization, and whatever concept we discussed till now are important for someone in functional testing or automation, performance, security testing as well, right? Particularly these two concepts, status codes and authentication and authorization concepts. These are basic concepts which are required for everyone into either development or testing as well. Developers also will know, or developers also will be aware of what is this authentication and authorization, right? So these concepts are very important for both developers and testing teams, QA teams. Now, let me start with status codes are response codes. HTTP status codes are HTTP response codes. So if you remember, we saw some status codes already. We saw one or two status codes, HTTP status codes previously. What are those? 200. We saw 200. Okay, right? 200 is status code and our response code, and OK is status message or response message. Okay. So let me bring up your class notes document. Now there are 5 different categories of response codes, which are represented as 1xx, 2xx, 3xx, 4xx, and 5xx. Right? So there are 5 different categories of response codes, which are represented as 1xx, 2xx, 3xx, 4xx, and 5xx. Here it is, HTTP status codes. And did I share, did I share the performance testing fundamentals document, guys? Did I share the performance testing fundamentals document as Word document? If not, I'll share it today. I'll share it one more time to everyone. Okay. So all this content is there in that, Word document, guys. So what is HTTP? First of all, HTTP is a set of rules for transferring files, or HTTP is a protocol, right? HTTP is a protocol, or HTTP is a set of rules for transferring files on the World Wide Web. On the World Wide Web. And 1 second, let me use Spotlight. So HTTP is an application protocol that runs on top of TCP/IP suite of protocols. Right? And what is the latest HTTP version? Anyone? 3. 3. HTTP, read it as 3. HTTP 3. So HTTP is an application protocol that runs on top of TCP/IP suite. This is pronounced as suite, right? It looks like suite, right? So, but it is actual pronunciation is suite. Suite of protocols, the foundation protocols for the internet. Your whole internet works on TCP/IP protocols. These are the 2 important protocols for the whole internet. Okay, where TCP stands for transmission control protocol and IP stands for internet protocol. Now, so there are 5 different categories of response codes: 1xx, 2xx, 3xx, 4xx, and so on. Now let us understand what are these categories, different categories. So 1xx is just informational. Informational means once you send a request to the server will send a response code starting with 1xx to indicate that the request is received and it is processing the request. 1xx indicates that request is received by the server and server is processing the request. Right? So 1xx HTTP codes are meant only for informational purposes, because why are we saying that is, your browsers will not display that. Actually, your browsers or user agents will not process and show these response codes. Okay, but actually, your server will send a response code with starting with number 1. Okay, and then next response code, onwards, you can see that in the browser, displayed in the browser. Next response code is 2xx, which indicates success. So you remember, last time, when we are discussing, when we checked in developer tools, I had shown that whenever you send a request, you will get a response from the server. And if you see that, if you see that the main URL, you see some response code. Here it is 301, isn't it? Here it is 301 moved temporarily. Status code, you see something called status code, right? This is nothing but response code. And 301 moved permanently. What does this indicate? 301 indicates a redirection. 301 indicates a redirection. What is the meaning of that? We'll discuss it soon. But go to that second request. Here you see 200, okay? So what does this mean? What does this tell you? Whenever server is able to process your request successfully, it will send a response code that start with number 2, right? This is called a status code or response code. Okay, which one? 200 is called as status code or response code, and this is called as status message or response message. Okay. So OK indicates request is processed successfully, as simple as that. Right. And that is what I mentioned here. This class of status code indicates that the action requested by the client was received, understood, accepted, and processed successfully. The request is processed successfully by the server, right? Whenever server is able to process your request successfully, it will send a response code that starts with number 2, right? And now next response code is next category is 3xx, which indicates a redirection. Just now you saw one response code that starts with number 3, right? You see that over here. Observe here, I had entered this URL http amazon.in. https amazon.in. This is the request that I entered. Now, if you observe here, this request has automatically redirected my request to https www.amazon.in. Right? That means, what does that mean? Amazon changed this URL, or they want this to be the actual URL or final URL. Right? So that is why it is displaying that moved permanently. For example, if you type in the browser, if you type this complete request, you will directly get a 200. Let me show you that. Suppose you are directly entering that URL https www. Now you will not get a redirection. You will not get a redirection. You will directly get 200 like this. Let me show you that. Let me show you that, and we'll move it. Okay, move to the next console. See, you see here, when we enter this URL directly, we got a 200 OK directly, isn't it? Right? However, I'll give you one more example. For example, if you go to Google page and let's say, let me open developer tools here also, and suppose you type google.com. Okay, suppose you type google.com, your request will be redirected to google.co.in or www.google.com. Let's see, there will be a redirection in this case also. You see that there is a redirection. If you observe here, the first request, see here, temporary redirect. This was temporarily redirected to www.google.com, isn't it? Yes or no, guys? So, and then you got a 200 OK. Now, what is this redirection? What is the meaning of redirection? So, there is some change in the URL. Your server is redirecting us to the correct URL, right? So, I'll give you some example, real life example of a redirection. So, you might have heard this in the demo sessions as well previously, right? Suppose there is, your parents are running some business in some area, and they want to expand. They want to expand. Let's assume that the office is not sufficient. I mean, the space is not sufficient, and they want to move it to a bigger premises. Okay. So, but they want to inform their customers, like like that, about this shifting, office shifting or shifting of the shop. Right? What do? Like, if they want to inform all the customers that they are moving to the new premises, they'll keep a board or a notice at the old location, right? That this shop has been shifted, or this office has been shifted to so and so location, isn't it? So that is a simple example of a redirection, right? So they are redirecting the customers who come to the old address were being redirected to, are being redirected to the new address, right? So similarly, there is a change in some URL here, and like when we send a request to the old URL, server is redirecting us to the new URL, as simple as that. So that is what we call as a redirection. So this class of status codes indicates that client must take additional action to complete the request, right? This class of status codes indicate that client must take additional action to complete the request. Many of these status codes are used in URL redirection. So, and observe here, why this 1xx, 2xx, 3xx is, there are number of response codes that start with number 3, right? So if you Google search for HTTP status codes, right? Or else, we'll use ChatGPT, guys, like let us make a shift to ChatGPT, right? And so that everyone knows how to do Google search already. So let's use ChatGPT. Okay, let's search for HTTP response codes. So if you Google search for, or if you search for HTTP response codes or status codes, you'll get hundreds of response codes like this. isn't it? So you are seeing in C, you see 1xx, 2xx, and so on. And below that, you see there are different under 1xx category, there are different status codes. Observe here 100, 101, 103. And again, under 2xx, you have 200 OK, 201 created, 202 accepted, 204 no content. And then 3xx, you have 301 moved permanently, 302 found, 304 not modified, 307 temporary redirect. Is something wrong here? I see something wrong here. Temporary redirection, I think it is the resource is temporarily relocated. Yeah. So 302 is moved temporarily, moved temporarily. Here it is showing as 302 found. We'll do one thing, let me go to the, Wikipedia. Okay. List of HTTP status codes. There will be tens of HTTP status codes. Observe here, right? You see 200 OK, 201 created, 202 accepted, 203 something, non-authoritative information. Right? You need not, don't worry, you need not remember all those. I will give you list of important response codes that you need to remember. Okay. I'll give you a list of important status codes that is there in the next slide. These are important ones. You need not remember those hundreds or tens or hundreds of those, all those response codes, right? So, however, these are some, see, this is a complete list. 300 multiple choice, 301 is moved permanently, 302 is moved, okay, moved temporarily. Previously, it was called as moved temporarily. Now it is 302 found. They changed it as 302 found. Okay. And then, under 4xx also you have different, observe here, 400 bad request, 401 unauthorized, 402 payment required, etc. And you see there are tons of response codes, isn't it? You have more response codes under 4xx category. Yes or no? Under 4xx, you have from 400 to almost 430, 450, 431, or approximately 30 plus response codes are there. And under 5xx also, you have around, 1 second. Under 5xx also, you have different response codes, right? Yeah. Right? So there are around, again, there are a lot of 5xx response codes, right? So all these are, you need not remember all this. However, you need to remember 5 to 10 response codes for interview purpose and some frequently faced response codes. You need to remember some frequently encountered response codes. So I'll give you a list of that in the next slide. So what does 3xx indicates? 3xx indicates a redirection. Whenever there is a redirection, you will see some response code that starts with number 3, right? And then next response code is 4xx, which indicates a client side error. What is meant by client side error? Suppose you are sending a wrong request, right? You are sending a wrong request to the server. Then you get some response code that starts with number 4, right? You will get 400. You may get either 400 bad request or 401, 402, etc. I'll show you some examples. Okay, let's see some examples. So I have one. Okay, we'll do one thing. I have some demo application. I'll start that demo application. Okay. So and I will, I will deliberately or intentionally send some wrong request. First, I'll show you, what is the correct URL of that. Just give me a moment, guys. I have a demo application that is a demo application called WebTools for booking flight tickets. So I started that application, and now this is the actual actual URL of that. Okay. So if we enter a correct URL, we'll get a response like this. You'll get a 200 OK. See, this is the correct URL, localhost 1080 webtools index.html. If you enter that, this is the actual URL. Okay, wait, I'm getting some unwanted request. Let me go to a private browser. And now observe here. So this is the actual URL. So I had sent a correct request and I got a response. I got a proper response. Server is able to process the request, and I got a 200. Okay. Okay. Now what I will do is, instead of this, I'll clear this first. Let me clear this log. And now what I will do is, intentionally I will send a wrong request. I'm sending INDEX badulu, I am giving double D. Okay. I'm sending a wrong request. Right. So now let us see what is the response code that you get. Right. And I'm hitting enter. Now what do you get? What did you see? What are you seeing here? Observe here. 404 not found. What is server is saying that I can't find this page called IND_DEX.htm. That is what it actually means. Server is saying that I could not find this page. I could not find this page, INDEX.htm, right? So you got a 404 not found. This is one of the frequently faced or, commonly encountered, response code. Even when you are doing scripting or, particularly those who are, going to attend interviews with experience, you need to remember these response codes. In interviews, they will ask you, can you list out some, can you write down some response codes that you faced in your experience, right? So you should be ready for that. You should be able to write at least 5 to 10 response codes. Okay. Now 404 not found is one response code. And see, this is a client side error. I had sent a wrong request. Now, is it clear now what is the meaning of client side error? Right. And then the next class of, in that way, like you have different response codes under 4xx also. Let me show you this. Okay. Oh, so now I had closed that. Wikipedia, right? If I want to open it again, instead of typing it again, is there any other way to open that page? Go to history and select that one. You see that, you have that in the history, right? If you are using a normal browser, you'll have that in the browsing history, isn't it? So just select that. Right. And now see here, if you observe here, these are all, client side errors. Whatever, response code that start with number 4 indicates client side error. See, 400 bad request and 401 unauthorized, 402 payment required, 403 is forbidden, 404 is not found, 405 is method not allowed. You need not remember all those. I'll give you the list of important ones. But understand that what are what are the different client side errors that we can do, or what are the different client side errors that and what would be the corresponding status code that you get from the server, right? And then next one is 5xx. 5xx indicates a server side error. If server is, you are sending a valid request, however, if the server is unable to fulfill your request for some reason, server is unable to fulfill request for some reason, then it will throw this 5xx, which indicates a server side error, right? You might have seen this many times, right? 500 internal server error. Did you see that error anytime? 500 internal server error. Or else I'll show you some screenshots. Okay, I'll show you some. Okay. Okay. So let me show you some 5xx response code. See, observe here. This is a screenshot of one of the websites, frogeltesting.com. Okay. And actually the website is down for maintenance at that time when I had tried to access it, and I got a 522 connection timeout error. 522 connection timeout error. Okay, this is a server side issue. But there is nothing wrong with this URL. This URL is correct. Frogeltesting.com. Let me show you that. Let me show you that website. See, this is the correct URL. And right now the website is up and running and you got the response. However, when it was down for maintenance some time before, I got this error called connection timeout, and I took a screenshot to show you. Okay. And then there is one more screenshot that I captured related to HDFC website. HDFC, one of the online website, one of the HDFC bank website. We got a 520 error, right? That is one more response code. You see that what is the reason it is showing that? There is some issue on the host. Host are the, see, online, see, your browser is working fine. That is why it is being shown in green. Cloudflare is working fine. What is that Cloudflare? We'll discuss it later. But there is some issue with the server. That is what it is showing here. The server is down for some reason, right? and it has thrown an error response code of 520. Here also the same issue. Browser is working fine, Cloudflare is working fine, which is in Singapore, but the host server is there is some issue with the server, and it has thrown an error of response code of 522. Okay, one last and one more website, which I captured from our TDP website. Okay, TDP website. This is in 2019, right? So, if you see that, I got a response code of 1016 or 530. Both are same actually. 530 response code, and if you Google search what is 530 response code, you'll get the same thing. 530 response code and search, and right? What does it say? Authentication problem or a server configuration issue. 530 or 1012, I think. Both are same, guys. Okay. So you can see that also. Let me show you that 530 or 1012, is that the response code? 2016. Sorry. 2016. Just Google search for 2016 response code. Origin DNS error. Right? Or that is origin DNS error. But somewhere I read that both are same actually. 1016 and 530 are same. Oh, sorry. 1016 is not an official HTTP status code. 530 is used by some servers. Then how come we got this 1016? I don't know, but that website is displaying. This is origin DNS error, it seems. Let me correct this. Let me correct this. Okay. So, just to avoid any confusion, let me remove this. Let me update the content and remove this one origin DNS error. Okay. Just to avoid any confusion. So, you'll not get that frequently. Most of the response codes that you frequently use are your encounter are 1xx, 2xx. 1xx you will not see again. Again, you can't see 1xx response code. Please remember that. Most frequently used seen response codes are 2xx, 3xx, 4xx, and 5xx. From 2 to 5. Okay. These are the most frequently encountered error codes are response codes. Sorry, not error codes, status codes are response codes. And now these are the important response codes. What are those? There are 12 important HTTP status codes and their meaning. 200 OK indicates that request has succeeded, means request is processed successfully. Mahesh, right? And 201 is created, 204 is no content, 304 not modified. Again, no content and also created and not modified. Hold on. We'll do one thing. I'll give you the list of important response codes, guys. Okay. So 200 is one important. 200, okay. This is one important status code. And then 301, 302. Okay. What is 301? Moved permanently. Means if there is any permanent change in the URL, then you get that response code, the start response code 301, right? So 301. So 301 indicates moved permanently, right? And then 302 temporary redirect, right? Indicates a temporary redirect. I'll note down this. This is also important one. Moved temporarily. Okay. And next 400 bad request. 401 is also important. Then 403 is forbidden. 404 is not found. What is 401? Unauthorized. 401 unauthorized. This is another important one, guys. 401 unauthorized, 404 not found. That's it. These four are important under 4xx category. And next comes 5xx. Okay. So these are all under 4xx. 2xx, this is only one and only important one is 2xx or 200, sorry, 200. Okay. Then under 5xx, you have some important ones. What are those? 500 is internal server error. 500 is internal server error. And what are the other important ones under 5xx? 503 is bad gateway. I remember it. Or gateway timeout. 503 is gateway timeout, if I remember it correctly.
Service not available.
Service unavailable. Sorry. 503 service unavailable. Sorry. Five not four is gateway timeout. Let me confirm that. 504 is gateway timeout. Okay. Next. I'll write only important ones that you and 502 is bad gateway. 502 is bad gateway, and any other important ones. Let me check if there are. No, that's it. So 502 bad gateway is also important. Let me write it down here. 502 bad gateway. So how many we got? 1, 2, 3 plus 4, 7, 11. We got 11 important response codes. Those 11 are very important. Okay. Those are enough. Those are enough for interviews, guys. If you remember those 11, those are important for interviews. Enough for interviews. Okay. Now let us understand authentication and authorization. Small concept, but an important one. Right? So what is the difference between authentication and authorization? One of the important interview concepts. So what is meant by authentication? Authentication is verifying the user credentials, right? So user credentials means, if you want to log into any application, you will enter your credentials, right? Username and password, right? So first your application will authenticate the credentials, means it will verify whether those credentials are correct or not. That is called as authentication. Verifying the user credentials is called as authentication, right? And this is the first step in any application security process, right? And what is meant by authorization? Authorization in a system security is the process of giving the user permission to access a specific resource or a function. So fine, once you log in, right? Once you log into the application, there will be different types of users, right? There will be different types of users for any application, web application, let's say. There will be admin user and normal user, etc. Yes or no? There will be admin users as well as normal users. These are called as, personas. Personas means nothing but user types, different types of users on an application, on an application, on an application. It can be web application or mobile application. That's why I'm using the term application, generic term application. So on any application, you will have, admin user and normal user, right? So admin will have all permissions, obviously, right? Admin will have all the permissions on the application, but normal users will not have all the permissions, right? Every user will not have all the permissions. Some users will have only read permission. Some users will have read and write permission also as well, isn't it? So authorization is nothing but verifying the what type of user it is and giving permissions or privileges on the application. That is called as authorization. Okay. Authorization is the process of, see, observe here below that there is a small diagram which indicates that authentication proves that you are you. Proves that you are you means uh, authentication verifies if the user is a valid user or not, or the credentials entered by the user are correct or not. And authentication usually happens at the login step, right? And authorization, once user logs into the application, then authorization happens immediately, right? So once you log into an application, your application will check what type of user is this based on your username. It will check what type of user is this. Based on that, it will provide permissions or privileges on the application. So, whether it is read permission or write or delete permission. So authorization, what does it do? It helps us to achieve what all you can perform on the application, or it gives permissions or privileges to the user. Whether user is having only read permission or write or delete permission. As simple as that, but very important concept for not only test engineers but as well as developers as well. Okay, even if attend any interview, as a developer or as a QA engineer, this concept is very important. Okay, often confused also. Some people say reverse. So please remember this. Authentication and authorization is one of the important concepts for interviews as well as for scripting as well. Okay. Once you start scripting also, you'll get some 401 unauthorized, 403 forbidden errors. When you are replaying the script, you'll get, sometimes you'll get 401 unauthorized. So you should know how to, this is one of the common interview question. When I'm replaying a script, let me write it down. I'm writing some important interview questions. So when I am replaying a script, so I am getting 401 unauthorized. What can be the issue? 401 unauthorized. So what can be the issue? Okay. Or 403 forbidden. 403 is for forbidden. Okay. If we are seeing, or if we are facing 403 forbidden error, 403 forbidden, what can be the issue? What can be the issue with the script? Right? Some common entry questions on this concept. What is first one is what is authentication, what is authorization? That is the first question that you can expect on that concept. What is different? What is the difference between authentication and authorization? That is one important introduction. And then you can expect these questions as well. When I'm replaying a script, I'm getting 401 unauthorized. What can be the issue? Or if you are facing 403 forbidden, what can be the issue with the script? If you are getting 500 internal server error, what can be the issue? Right? Or 502 is bad gateway. 503 is service unavailable. When do you get 503? If the server is down for some reason. Okay, we have one website which frequently shows that service unavailable. Let me check if that application is up now. Seems like application is working. So note this URL. I'll show that. If you check, or else you can check it on a weekend. If you check it any time from Saturday afternoon, you'll see 503 service unavailable. Okay, because they bring down the application on weekend. Okay. Uh, you're getting 503 for Urban Pro. Uh, no, if the website is down, then we get that. But I don't have any screenshots of that. Okay. So please check this URL on a weekend and you will see that 503 service unavailable. I am sharing it in the Zoom chat. Okay. I'm sharing the URL in Zoom chat and let me give please check this URL on weekend. Weekend, particularly after Saturday afternoon. Saturday afternoon till Monday morning. So can you please copy that URL from the Zoom chat? Please copy that URL. Otherwise, like you'll lose it once we close the meeting, you'll lose it. Okay. All right, guys, we'll stop it here for today and we'll continue tomorrow. So let me update the tracker sheet. Any queries, guys? Any queries before we close today's session?
Yeah, Pawan, please give me the access for this video recording and this performance testing basic documents.
Till now, all the sessions are uploaded as public videos only, I believe. Right? So I'll share the playlist URL.
Yeah, please.
Except March 5th session. So all the sessions are uploaded as only March 5th session is uploaded as private session. Okay, and yesterday's one also. Okay, I'll add your mail ID to the distribution list. Okay.
Yeah,
So
and also
any
please
other
share the URL. Also, please share the URL so that
which URL? Playlist
this.
URL.
Yeah.
Okay, playlist URL. Yes, I'll share it. Any other queries, guys? Any other queries or any issues before we close today's session? Okay, all right then. So I'm closing the meeting. See you tomorrow, guys.